Вітаю.
Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon to those who watch us online. We start our first briefing, interactive exhibition live at the contact line, and our guests are Aigul, Zharylgassova, Director of NGO Forum Ukraine, Oleksiyenko, Coordinator of the project Advocacy and Illegal Aid for IDPs, Charity Foundation Pravo, Zahyst, Krasnenko, lawyer, NGO Donbas SOS, and Valeriya Vershynina, Manager of the Program Advisor on IDPs Issues. Welcome. Good morning, dear colleagues, dear participants of today's press conference. We're going to start. The main aim of our today's press conference is to announce about the opening of interactive exhibition. This exhibition is called Live at the Line of Conflict after 4 years, and in April, we have the 4th year of the conflict, and many people continue to suffer in the result of the conflict. And measures are taken by the state bodies, and people suffer and they experience daily difficulties concerning the freedom of movement, and access to services is limited. Their property rights limited, and access to means for living. The interactive exhibition that will be held on the 24th until 27th of April. This exhibition is for raising awareness of the Kievans, of the public, and the state bodies and people who are decision makers, and in order to inform them about the difficulties of those people who live at the contact line in the east of Ukraine. This exhibition will be held in cooperation with our partners, including Forum of Ukraine, of NGOs, together with partner organizations. The Forum will be holding this exhibition, and this exhibition will include 2 sections. First, 360-degree interactive video, and this will provide first-hand experience about the conflict in Donbas, and through virtual reality people will see what difficulties people face, how they live at the line of contact. Also, we will show minimalistic pictures that will portray those prohibited goods that cannot be brought from controlled to uncontrolled territories. So here we represent those norms and measures taken by the state. This is about the resolution number 99 that was adopted by the Cabinet of Ministers, and the provision order number 39 as of March 24th, 2017. It was taken by the Ministry of Temporarily Occupied Territories and Internally Displaced Persons of Ukraine. So these products are chicken eggs, sunflower oil, and wheat flour. They are allowed, and at the same time other products such as rice flour, olive oil, they cannot be brought because they are not reflected in the list. You know that there is a list of allowed products, and due to this exhibition, we would like to call on the governmental bodies, to call on the parliamentarians and all those who can influence on this process to substitute the current list of permitted goods with one of goods prohibited. And this exhibition will be held starting 24th of April until 27th in the Kyiv City Hall, and we would like that the journalist would highlight to cover this event, and I would like to give the floor to my colleagues, Maria Krasnenko, Donbas SOS NGO, Maria Oleksiyenko, Right for Protection, and Valeriya Vershynina, Civilization Support Services, Canadian NGO that works in Ukraine. Thank you. Thank you very much. So we will start with the main aim of the exhibition. So first, the list established by the Cabinet of Ministers of Ukraine 4 years ago. A contact line was established, and this is not a state border. And taking this into account, and this line, so on both sides, Ukrainians live, and the order was changed, and the state of Ukraine decided that people who live in temporarily occupied territories, or those people who want to travel there, that they should be guided by the list of the allowed products. But we believe that this is unacceptable because, as I have said, this is not a line of this is not a state border. This is a line of contact. And now we have list for crossing the border, but in this case we should not have such a list because this is a line of contact. So I would like to report about the case. 68-year-old pensioner wanted to send through the contact line quadricycle that costs 20,000 hryvnias, and it was not allowed. And you know that, for example, quadricycle for a child, it cannot put any threat to the security of our state. That's why, once again, by this exhibition, we would like to say that these norms should be reviewed and proper framework should be established. Also, recently, at the end of February, the law on reintegration was adopted, and it envisages that the Cabinet of Ministers should review the order of crossing the line of contact, especially concerning people and vehicles and goods that cross the line. So this issues concerning the goods that cross the contact line, this is really important now. And the Ministry of Defense is the ministry that will elaborate these changes. It should have adequate attitude to this order, and this order will be reviewed and changed. And now changes will be introduced, and this should be not only about the goods, but also the whole order of crossing the line of contact, because this order of process of crossing this line, this shows the attitude of the Ukrainian state towards this issue. So also, as of today, there is an order that there should be permits, and they are provided through SBU, and in Donetsk Oblast, it is difficult to cross the line for elderly people, for disabled people. This is just impossible to cross the line. That's why we want to draw attention to the fact that not only the order for the goods should be changed, but there should be changes, proper changes, because they influence life of people, and we should minimize the difficulties for people and make lives of those people who cross the line easier.
To continue my colleagues' thoughts, I would like to say that indeed the contact line, it is about 500 kilometers, and along all the line, both on controlled and uncontrolled territories, about 600,000 people live, according to estimates of international organizations. We have been observing the lives of those people who live there for 3 years, and the problems which were caused by the conflict, they have exacerbated, for example, as to public transportation, the routes were not regular, and now they function 1 or 2 times a week. If previously people there have bad access to medical and healthcare services, and now the situation is even better, and people of old age, sometimes they need to go 120 kilometers to get medical aid. And also there is a problem with financial institutions and banks, and often people, if they are registered as pensioners or IDPs, if they are registered as IDPs, they can get their retirement benefits only at a shut bank institutions, and very often banking institutions just lack money in their possession, in their affiliates. About 1 million people who pass contact line every month via checkpoints, they move forward, so they are just transit passengers, but many of them they stay in the settlements close to this official checkposts. For example, at Stanitsa Luganska, we observe every day queues to social institutions and pension fund and the shut bank affiliates. There is a problem with freedom of movement, which has worsened due to the conflict. Maria has already mentioned this, but there is also a problem with the safety situation. People living less than 5 kilometers close to the contact line, they often face the need to demonstrate registration certificates if they want even to move 5 kilometers. Some people have problems even to get from one part of the settlement to the other part of the settlement, because the checkpost may be inside the settlement. So this is the obstacle to the freedom of movement. Many problems were caused due to the military conflict. More than 40,000 buildings, residential and non-residential, have been destroyed. Many of them remain not restored. And Ukraine has not paid compensations for the destroyed buildings, destroyed homes. More than 3,000 people during the military conflict since 2014 have not get compensations for the deaths of their relatives, because the procedure is very complicated, only a court procedure, so it is very long. It is very good that this exhibition is organized in the center of a peaceful city, so I invite Kievites to see how people live near the contact line, because this is only 7 hours ride from Kiev. Thank you very much for your interest to this topic. Recently, the situation in Donbas is told about as about frozen conflict, and it seemed that the situation is not bad, but the conflict continues, and we cannot influence the actions of the aggressor, but we can have impact on our attitudes to our citizens directly. If the problems of IDPs are very often talked about in the context of integrations, while majority of them have not even socially adapted. Those people who live close to the line of conflict, they are often forgotten about. Even in those regions of Ukraine which are not touched by the conflict, in rural areas people live experiencing many problems with health care services, with transportation services, and where the links have disrupted, where the access to those towns where main medical care institutions are available. So to get to the closest regional center, people use minefields. They cross the minefields to get to the medical care institution. We have children who attend schools at so-called Lugansk and Donetsk People's Republics because there is no transportation so that they can attend schools in Ukrainian territory, controlled territory. The regulation which we mentioned, it is important that the territories listed as uncontrolled, they are subject to limitations. You cannot get pensions there or any welfare benefits. Infrastructure cannot be invested to. So about 1 year, we have some settlements which are already controlled by Ukraine, but according to the resolution, this area is deemed uncontrolled. So the residents of those settlements, they simulate that they are IDPs. They register as IDPs in the neighboring villages, and thus settlement cannot pay taxes and collect taxes. This is a non-responsible attitude of the public bodies to this issue. It should be addressed in the context of the law on reintegration of Donbas, and we hope that the joint headquarters will pay more attention and will demonstrate more responsibility in this issue. The second problem is the pause of entry. We have not had any regulation for 4 years which would define the legal status of such checkposts when the international institution wanted to provide equipment to this post to make stay of people in queues there more comfortable. We faced that it is impossible because no public institution in Ukraine is responsible for the checkposts, and why we have the list of allowed goods. This is just the cherry on the cake. We look not into the list of sins which should be banned for movement. We proceed from that only those sins which prices are defined, they could only cross the checkposts, but money are not included in the list. In equivalent of goods, this is 20,000. If I want to return to Ukraine, and if people live at controlled territories, but they cross the check post because there is just no other road to get to the other settlements in controlled territories of Ukraine. We are talking today not only about those people living in the territories which are not controlled by the government of Ukraine. We are talking about those people who we should take care about, because this is not evil will of the terrorists prevent us from adopting adequate regulations. These are us who have not communicated this message to take care of our citizens. We have not communicated this message to our government. This is where the strategy of reintegration of territories lies in. I have one specifying question. When your exhibition will be held? It will start on 24th, tomorrow, and will last till 27th of April. The venue is Kiev City Council, and we suppose that this exhibition will also be demonstrated in the Verkhovna Rada building in June, supposedly, and we will announce this later. Colleagues, please, you are welcome to ask questions. I have one specifying question. Do you plan to go with your exhibition to other cities of Ukraine? Because not only Kievites, but other cities of Ukraine want to see such an exhibition, because the problem concerns all the citizens of Ukraine. No, so far we plan to demonstrate the exhibition in Kiev, and we plan to distribute this information via social media, and we will do our best to inform as many people as possible. Thank you very much, colleagues, for this briefing and your information. Thank you.